You said before, patience is almost always rewarded in the entertainment business. How so?
Well, I am not patient, so it's something you have to learn. And we do a show called BoJack Horseman. A big hit, great show. Somebody said to me, there's a person that works on a writer's room at a CBS mediocre show. We met him down the hall, and he told my associate his 3 ideas, and I said to him, you got 2 minutes, which one of those 3 do you want me to hear? And he told me about BoJack Horseman. I'm the only one of the people here thought it was great. So then we decided we would make it ourselves, and we made a 12-minute version of it. And luckily, there was one guy, because everybody else passed, one guy at Netflix that loved it, and it got ordered, and it's become probably their best reviewed show. So patience, which is your question, if we didn't have patience, which I don't have, which I forced myself to have, nothing would ever happen, because all it takes, if you have 10 people in a room and one person is negative at a buyer, it fails. When I was a buyer, I'd like to think that I wasn't that way. If somebody came in with an idea I liked, this is before streaming, I'd just say yes. And there were only 3 networks or 4 networks. So I had, I just said yes to, 15 different shows, which is why I succeeded, because I was lucky I picked the right ones.
Bob Iger once said, you said, micromanaging is underrated. How so?
Well, I was criticized for being a micromanager, and I would say, well, why hire me? And you can't micromanage when you have 100,000 employees. That's ridiculous. But I was a micromanager in the sense that everything that had to do with taste, whether it was a theme park ride or a new theme park, or the schedule at ABC, or architecture particularly, the CEO should be a micromanager. But you can't really be a micromanager. You have to pick your spots.
Your longtime friend, Barry Diller, he once said about you, he's paranoid. Michael is very suspicious of motives. What do you think the genesis is of that?
Well, it's very competitive in the executive world. And he said to me, this is where it comes from. He said to me, after Charlie Bluhdorn, who was the chairman of Gulf and Western, who we all loved, was replaced by Marty Davis. When Marty died, and I heard it, I called Barry, he was in his car, and Barry's comment was, I hope it was painful. So nobody liked this guy. And Barry said to me one day that Marty wanted me fired. And I said, well, that's not possible. We have 5 shows in the top 10. We've been the #1 movie studio for 7 years in a row.
You guys turned Paramount around.
We were doing well.
And that's a very conservative understatement.
Yeah, but I don't understand why he would want me fired. I think I learned later that he didn't like the fact that Barry and I shared half of the bonus pool. I don't know. And Barry said, he said to Marty, I'm not going to fire him, and if you make me fire him, I'm quitting too. Not only did he quit, he went to Fox, wanted me to go with him to Fox. And I got a call from Roy Disney, do you have a contract? I said no, I hadn't left Paramount yet. And the week after I left Paramount, I joined Disney. So I've one thing, it's good to be lucky.
Why were you the only Hollywood exec to never get invited to Swifty's Oscar party?
Oh my God. I would not let Bob Redford direct Ordinary People, but for the same kind of deal that we would give any first-time director. He was making millions as an actor, and I said, you have to work for scale, first-time director. And Barry said, how can you ask this man to work for, I said, because we ask everybody. But on Swifty, so he had a book, maybe it was Rich Man, Poor Man, I can't what the book was. And then I found out he was going to be the producer. And I thought that was a conflict of interest. And I said, no, you're either the agent or you're the producer. You can't be both. And he went to Barry and complained. So Barry said to him, I have to back the president. I can't. So I was bringing television ethics, because television in those days was all the networks, and the networks were licensed by government. And if you screwed around with the government, it didn't end up well. The movie business was, oh my God, and all for one, it's just wild. And Barry and I were the first television people ever to go into the movie business. It was then followed by Warner Brothers and everybody else. We were the first. And we got there early in the morning, we worked hard, we wore a suit, we didn't play cards through lunch, and I wouldn't do deals that had conflicts in them.
How about the lengths to which you went to at summer camp when Larry Gordon was walking towards you?
Well, he and I have a different version of this. I supported him for decades, and when he asked me to direct a film, I thought that was a great idea, because I think he's talented. I'm actually doing a show now with him, so we've made up. But I said to him, you have to work for scale. Bob Redford worked for scale. You have to work for scale. Instead of which he went and made a deal at Universal. So I took all of his furniture and put it out on Melrose Avenue and threw him off the lot. And then he went to a judge and sued us and won. So for the next 2 years, he was still back on the lot. And my wife wrote a television series with his wife. My kids went to school with his kids. They went to the camp with his kids. And he kept trying to make up, and I wouldn't make up. I was too upset. And at camp one day, he walked out on the dock to try to schmooze me, and I dove in with all my clothes and swam away.